Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Screen Chronicles. How are you doing today? Oh, so let's introduce ourselves. I'm Steve. With me, as always, is Coldstone, the Batman.
There you go.
I couldn't think of anything else today.
Just go with the truth. Just go with the truth. When in doubt.
What are we talking about today, man?
Oh, man, we're talking about Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 7. We're getting toward the end of the season here. Pretty rocking episode, I would say.
Yeah, what's this now? Chapter 15, I think, right?
This is Chapter 15.
Yeah. So we're going to get into some non-spoiler talk here at the beginning. That usually is a couple minutes in, and then we'll get into a bunch of spoiler talk after that. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe to help the algorithm out. Yeah. And if you're on podcast listening to us, make sure you give us a follow, sign up for automatic downloads.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, we'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, if you're a Last Kingdom fan, make sure you check out our Last Kingdom stuff. And Colby and I are also planning on doing an ASTM event. Make sure you go to our social media and check out that stuff as well.
Yes, we were asked to moderate some panels at ASDM. We're going to have some cool Last Kingdom guests there, so go check out tickets. Hope to see you there. By the way, Steve, I love your sweater.
Thank you. You
got a little
some wolves?
Wolves on the bottom.
Some wolves?
Well, there's nothing more Christmas than some wolves.
It's like my Christmas cat sweater.
Yeah.
Like what?
The top of it
actually
just
looks kind of nice, though.
Well, on the top it does.
Yeah, it looks nice, like right to here, right? You got the moon.
Yeah, the
and
moon.
You got wolves wearing Christmas hats.
Yeah. Otherwise, I just thought you were wearing a normal Christmas sweater today.
No,
I was like, that's kind of weird.
I try and keep them ugly.
Christmas sweater.
I try.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But
I'm hoping my new one is in for next week. It's going to be relevant. I'm hoping it's in.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
anyway, let's talk about this episode.
Yes.
Let's get into non-spoiler thoughts before we get into spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
We knew Bill Burr was going to be in this at the end of the last episode. If you watch that at the end, he's like, we need to get Mayfield out, who was Bill Burr. He was in, I think, episode 6 of last season. One of my favorite episodes of that season because it was so original. It made Mando a badass. It had, all that sweet bounty hunter mercenary interactions.
Batman vibes
in it. Rick Famuyiwa directed that one, and he wrote and directed this one. And I'm going to get more into about this episode in our spoiler talk, but I genuinely really like this episode. It kind of felt like I was like, oh, this doesn't feel like the two-parter sort of setup that we had from the end of season 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like at the end of season 1, it felt like that was really just one long episode split in half.
Right.
This one, to me, it felt like when we started, I was like, oh, this is going to be like another adventure episode. And it pretty much was one of their episodic ones, I guess you could say. But it still really built up some tension for the finale of the season, I thought. And again, it turns out Rick Famuyiwa, who I was just talking about, I might be saying his name wrong, but he wrote and directed this one, again with Bill Burr is in it. And Bill Burr was so Bill Burr in this. I remember you sent me a text, and you're like, Bill Burr is so Bill Burr in the first 10 minutes.
Bill Burr showed up to set. He had prepared for a script. He had done his research, and he showed up like, forget all that. Just go be you. You just go be you out there. And don't even worry about it, because he was. But no, Bill Burr was excellent in this. He was good in the first one. I didn't like his character at all in the first episode he was in. I thought he was a punk.
He was an ass.
He was really he wasn't likable at all. But we'll talk about how that kind of shifts in this episode. Otherwise, I thought you're right. Some people might look at this episode as kind of one of those filler episodes. But really, it has a lot of key elements that the storyline needs.
I thought there was a lot of character development for Mando in this.
Yeah, for Din Djarin.
And we also get to see him be a badass again in this, which one of my complaints in the last episode, I felt like he was just kind of there, and it was really Boba Fett's episode. He was really a badass in this one. And
we got to see a few people be a badass in this one too.
It was a lot of people got their time to shine, and it was pretty. I mean, I really like this Rick Famuyiwa.
I thought it was tastefully done. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed this one. I don't think it was my favorite episode of the season, but again, like this one to me was one of the ones that was like shut up your complaints, Steve. Like I feel like
Steve,
like,
shut up. Like
I feel like every time, like when we were watching the first season, I was like, he's always getting saved. He's, all this and that, and then that episode happened on the ship with Bill Burr and all that. And he just
Steve didn't talk for 3 weeks.
I was like, all right, well, I'm done. I'm shut up.
I'm done talking. I'm not gonna say. Yeah. I'll tell you what, it was fun. We had an unlikely hero at one point, which I'm excited to talk about a little bit. And otherwise, should we jump right in?
Yeah. So let's get into our spoiler talk. So
spoiler alert! Alrighty. Where do we even begin?
Well, I mean, so we talked about Bill Burr in this. He's pretty much Bill Burr throughout. So, they went and they got Bill Burr. Like that, at the end of the episode, it was, I need to go get Bill Burr. And he went to Gina Carano, Cara Dune at the end, who's a New Republic Marshal now.
Yeah. And so they arrive
Marshals is like the theme of this season, too. There's a lot of Marshal characters.
I guess so. Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's like foreshadowing what Mando will be, if he becomes like a marshal or something like that. I don't know.
Ooh, I could see that. Well, we start the episode off on this sort of like junkyard setting where all these prisoners are like chopping up these like old TIE fighters and stuff. It was pretty cool. It gave me some
Fallen Order
vibes from the first level, But this droid comes up to Bill Burr's just chopping stuff, doing his job, chopping stuff, and the droid's like, prisoner number something, come down here. And Bill Burr like ignores it the first time, and then it gets asked again, and he's like, what like so annoyed. And I'm just that's Bill Burr like writing his jokes at home, and his wife comes up behind him, Bill, dinner's ready. He just like, no,
just holding his
Carano said that he's like a sweetheart when she talked about working with him.
Oh yeah, I mean he seems like
she wouldn't have worked with him on that episode in the first season. So
yeah,
this has been the first time meeting, I guess.
Yeah, so he seems like a down to earth guy, and I think that's why he registers with so many people, is because
he does.
He really helps spell out too. Because I think if you look at him from the surface with his stand up, you might be like, oh, that's terrible what he's saying.
Very abrasive.
He's this and that, but when you listen to it, you're like, all right, he's got a nuanced thought. He's just a normal guy. Like if he wasn't doing stand up, he'd be working in a bar as a bartender, or he'd be like
in Mandalorian.
Yeah, in Mandalorian.
Because you know why, Steve? Because he proved this episode that he's more than just a comedian.
Yeah.
Like he had a very amazing scene at the end of the episode that I don't want to talk about yet.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with his comedy. Because I will say a lot of this episode was like him being his comedy, I thought. And that was great. It wasn't out of place. But at the end, he has a scene. He has a scene.
They end up getting him, and Boba Fett shows up too with them, who's got a fresh paint job. He's looking pretty sweet.
Yeah, I like that.
And this new crew of Cara Dune, Boba Fett, I forget Cyborg lady's name.
Fennec,
that's it. She's with them. They take Bill Burr, then they're like, hey, you can either stay here or you can come with us and you get a free pass for the day where you're not just chopping up junk. Because
field trip,
Yeah, field trip.
I mean, we've been in school like when and they have like an assembly at the auditorium, it's like heck yeah.
Yeah, I'll go to that. I'll go watch people sell us on yo-yos for a day.
Yeah.
Instead
I'll go to
of going
a motivational speaker for a day instead of science. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Don't do drugs. Okay.
All right. But I love when Bill Burr's being taken over to the ship again. Just being Bill Burr. He's like, it's a common courtesy to tell someone where they're going, where you're taking them.
I know. Everything he says feels like it could be like from his stand-up, talking about something.
Yeah.
But they put it in here, and it still feels like it fits in Star Wars. You know,
Exactly.
It doesn't feel like they took like a very recognizable celebrity. Like he is recognizable to us, anyways. But it doesn't feel like they just stuck in this recognizable celebrity, and it's like, oh, it's that celebrity. Like it's not like
sort of
Jeff
like
Goldblum
Palpatine.
showing up.
Oh.
You know, like, oh, Jeff Goldblum is doing Jeff Goldblum things. You know,
Right. Jeff Goldblum's a good example. But when he's being taken away by Marshall Dune, he's nervous. He's like, is she gonna whack me? You know what I mean? Like
and she wants to.
Yeah.
Because she hates imps.
Oh yeah, she hates imps, and he is ex-Imperial, and he's like to the robot. He's like, "Someone gonna tell me what's going on here?" He's nervous. He gets there, and basically he has like the line where like he sees Boba Fett. He's like, "Oh, thank God! I thought you were somebody else."
You know, for a second, I thought you were this other guy.
And then Mando walks down, and Bill Burr's smile like turns into straight fear.
Because he got Batman. He got Batman by Din.
He got Batman because he betrayed Din on that little mission. You know, they tried to lock Din up in a cage and leave.
They tried.
They tried, but Batman came out that night.
Batman.
Yeah, they're basically like, well, what do you want me for? They're like, well, you're ex-Imperial, and you have, Imperial clearances, or you know how to get Imperial clearances, and we need that. So okay, now here I am sitting here. I was watching last week's episode thinking to myself, why the heck do they need Bill Burr? You have like all these capable bounty hunters who can track a ship. And I was just thinking to myself, like, this just doesn't make sense to go get this guy who was a bad guy last season. Anyway, now it makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, they at least filled that in.
They filled that in.
That. But they need clearances to figure out where the ship's flight path is or where it's at. Yeah. Or something like that. So I was like, all right, at least makes sense. And I like, too, that it seems like they're setting him up for like a reoccurring character instead of, a lot of characters we got this season. It kind of feels like they're trying to set them up for like a spinoff, and some of them have been confirmed for a spinoff, like Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So I like that this is going to be like a Mando, level thing here.
Yeah, I like it. So anyway, they pretty much like he does a little like turnaround, like should I stay and just keep chopping stuff up?
What was he even doing there too? Because
I think they were like salvaging like old TIE fighters.
It didn't look like his was like moving or like creating any sparks or anything. It looked like he was literally just like holding it there, waiting for his line to like come up.
To say what? But he just gives that Bill Burr attitude that whole time.
He does. It's great though. Like it was so crazy when I first saw him in the first season. When I first saw him in the trailer, even I was like,
yeah,
how is he gonna feel? And it's like is he gonna feel like Jeff Goldblum is dropped into Star Wars? You know what I mean? But he somehow works in this. I have no idea how.
His comedy works. Because again, he's not doing anything like super vulgar or anything, but like he does say one distasteful thing later on. Couple actually. But anyway, they get on the ship and he's pretty much like, so what do you guys want with me? And they're like, we want to go after Moff Gideon. He's like, like, no way I'm doing that. Like, you guys are crazy. And Mando's like, no, somebody says like, well, we lost the little green guy.
Yeah.
We lost Grogu.
Lost the kid,
And he's like, yeah, he lost the kid. He's like, that little green guy? And Marshall Dune's like, yeah, the little green guy. And Fennec's just kind of sitting over there like, I'm part of the team.
I know, right?
And Boba Fett has a great, like, okay, so Bill Burr is convinced because he gets a better view.
He gets out for
of the
field trip.
Yeah, it's a field trip. So he's just like, I don't really have ground to stand on here. Like, I'm just going to do it. And he goes, all right, we can go. I know I need a access to an internal Imperial terminal. And he's like, I know that there's one on this planet called Morak. There's like a mining station there. If we can get there, I can probably sneak in and get access to it. Okay? So Mando's like, all right, Boba Fett, my dude, make course to Morak.
Yeah.
And Boba Fett just has a great pause and a great copy that. Just that.
His voice is sick.
It's just
The two of them together.
so good.
I either want them working together or as rivals or something. I don't need a Boba Fett spinoff. I really don't. I think it would be good for just a reoccurring character in The Mandalorian. The same with Bo-Katan. I feel like that would be a good way to continue different Mandalorian storylines. And
that's another one. One of those shows might have Bo-Katan in it. I don't know.
Yeah. There's so many that got announced.
I'm not sure which one.
The Disney investor thing, I think is what they called it.
Yeah, and here's our opinion on that.
Disney money.
Here's our opinion on that real quick. We are huge Star Wars fans. We love it. We're a little nervous it's going to become a little saturated. We don't want too many shows here. Hopefully they're spread out over a long period of time that kind of isn't too much. But that was a lot. I was expecting 3 or 4 announced.
I only need
15.
3 or 4.
I know, but we shouldn't complain. We're getting stuff. Steve's not happy that they're making an Ewok spinoff, but that's okay.
No, I'm not. If you need to listen to me rant about Ewoks, listen to our original trilogy talk.
Go listen to the original.
I don't want to get into it again.
Hey, let's not get into it. Let's talk about this episode. They get to the planet. Boba Fett is like, here, I did a quick scan of the planet, my dudes. Check this out. Because Boba Fett is a bro now. You know what I mean? He's just... And he just walked in, and he's been helping out ever since. So he pulls up the map, and it's like a mining facility, and they're like, what are they mining? And Boba Fett tells them, looks like rhydonium. This is highly volatile and explosive stuff. And Bill Burr just goes like, kind of like this one over here, huh? Pointing at Marshall Dune. And I was just thinking, if I said, no one laughs. No, everyone just turns it's not the time, dude. And I'm just thinking, that's totally my girlfriend when we were watching Bill Burr stand up last special. With some of the stuff. She thought some of it was funny. Wasn't her favorite comedian. I like Bill Burr.
I love him.
Anyway.
He's definitely
so this rhydonium stuff, it's not the first time it's appeared.
Oh, yeah?
It appeared in Clone Wars. I believe it was Clone Wars. And I don't exactly remember what happened in it, but it's not the first time. And I think it had something to do with the Mandalorians and that too.
That's cool though. They're keeping this universe consistent. They don't have to make up something new every time.
Right.
But they get there and they say, hey, we need there's a bunch of these Imperial guys coming in. They're driving in these trucks in and out.
Called Juggernauts.
Burr's like we need to get in there, but it has to scan our face.
Mm-hmm.
We have to go by people. You can't go in your Mandalorian armor. Cara Dune can't go in because her genetic code will get recognized as...
So I was confused at first. Especially at the end of the episode after somebody gets their face scanned. I was confused, wait, why? What does a face scan do? But when I went and rewatched it, Bill Burr explains that it's the scanner is scanning for anybody that's in a New Republic registry. So as long as you're not in the registry for the New Republic, you're good. It's not it's scanning that you're an Imperial person.
Yeah.
It's just making sure you're not a New Republic person. So that's why it makes more sense later on. But Cara Dune, obviously, New Republic.
Mm-hmm. Fennec is
she's
apparently wanted. And then I love Boba Fett.
He's
fantastic. I think they'd recognize my face.
He's like, let's just say they might recognize my face. And I don't think Mando doesn't get it. I don't think anyone there gets it, but all of us at home, we're just that's because there were a million of you guys.
And they were working for the Empire before it got turned over to the other clones or whatever.
Well,
I can't really remember. We found out the evidence again, I think, in our sequel talk. I think we found out some stuff.
Yeah, but they're not they're not the same clones, everybody.
Yeah, so they're not the same as Jango Fett, but they would still recognize anyone whose Empire would probably recognize, hey, weren't you Commander Cody?
Yeah. I saw the prequels. No, but that was a funny line. Very tastefully done. But anyway, Bill Burr's just look, I'm going to go alone. And Mando's like, I'll go. And he's like, well, I can't explain someone in a Mandalorian costume.
Mm-hmm.
And Mando's like, "You're not going alone," and we're like, "Does that mean he's gonna take his mask off right now and go in?"
Yeah, and you see he scans like a truck too, and he like sees the guys inside, and you're like, "What's he thinking?" You know. And it ends up like they show them in the tunnel getting ready to get in one of these trucks that they see driving by. Well, actually, they jump on the truck, they hijack it.
And Cara Dune has a great moment where she jumps in the cockpit and just slams their head against the dashboard and like real quick, no probs. But yeah, then they're getting ready, and I just love so what they're doing is they're gonna put on those they're stormtroopers, but they're wearing kind of like black or gray,
like kind of
dark gray.
They almost look like old Imperial.
Old Imperial costume. So it starts with Bill Burr, who's Mayfeld, by the way, putting on this, and he's like, this guy stank, and his gloves are still wet. It's just Bill Burr, man. It's just him. And then even more, you just hear him say, "Oh, the shame." The shame.
Yeah, when Mando comes out.
And
he's wearing this over him, and he's like, "They won't see my face." Remember before they come in, he's like, "They won't see my face." And
he had just run to the bathroom real quick to change.
And he's like, "Oh," then that's when he's like, "Oh, the shame." And
the shame.
I laughed at that.
I laughed too.
And they all kind of look at him like, "Hey, like this kind of, I don't know, does this count?" Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. This is weird, dude.
And like they can all and eventually, Burr brings it up when they're in the truck, and it's great when they're driving. There's a lot of Bill Burr moments in the truck. Then, they go by these villagers and all this stuff. A lot of great talk. But one of the things he says to him is, "So, can you not take off the armor, or can you just not show your face? Because they're not the same thing."
Yeah.
And the thing that Mando is always, when he was with his people, I remember them saying, like, "Has anyone removed your helmet?" You know what I mean? Like, that was something they say is,
Yeah.
Or have you ever removed your helmet in front of someone? Has anyone removed it for you or something like that? And he's like, "No." You know what I mean? And he's not wearing his helmet right now. You know what I mean?
He's not wearing his helmet.
He's wearing a helmet.
He hasn't exposed his face. Yeah.
But the idea behind it is you don't take off your armor. Is
helmet. Yeah, so this is created some fine line with the creed, the Mandalorian creed here.
And you see it on Mando.
You
kind of see it on his face. I always say this, you see it on his face, but you can see he's contemplating, like, he's hearing what Bill Burr's saying, and he even knows that he's a little bit hypocritical. Like
Bill Burr's like, "So you can't show me your face, but you can straight up wear a stormtrooper helmet?" Like, what? Bill Burr's literally like, "What?" And again, that's just a bit Bill Burr would use in his comedy special.
Yeah.
Like, but you're right. It was an interesting scene. I like that. It lends into Mando's character development.
Yeah.
A big part of this episode is going to be,
we've been seeing like Mandalorians. He sees them take off their helmets. He's seen other people who aren't Mandalorians wearing Mandalorian armor, like Cobb Vanth, Boba Fett. And he's seen that these are all good people.
Yeah.
And they wear the armor, and they represent Mandalorians well, but they're not. They're either a different type of Mandalorian, or they're not a Mandalorian, or they're descendant of Mandalorian, but they all are conflicting with what he has known his whole life.
Right. But the other thing about this episode is that every time, like when they were looking and making a plan, and like he said, you're not going alone. There was also like Bill Burr had said to him, "Is like, all right, then kiss your friend goodbye." About Baby Yoda, Grogu. And then Mando is like, "Okay, I'm going to do this," and that's going to be a thread in this episode. How far does Mando go for Grogu? How far does he kind of give up his own beliefs for Grogu? And it's even like Bill Burr has a line that says, everyone, this is again when they're in the Juggernaut driving, he says, everyone has their lines and they won't cross until things get messy. You know what I mean? And that's just sort of foreshadowed what's going to happen at the end of the episode. How far is Din Djarin actually going to go for Grogu? The thing too, before we get too far ahead, Bill Burr had another fantastic line before he got into the Juggernaut. He goes, when they're leaving Cara Dune, he's like, I'm surprised you're not coming with us. You have such a sunny disposition. I can't imagine how fun you must be on one of these. Just said in the Bill Burr way, you know.
And it was great too when he was talking about like the helmet and that stuff too when they were riding.
Yeah.
He was, he took off his helmet and he was like, he's like, oh, I hate these things. I don't know how you people can see in these. He's like, by you people, I mean Mandalorians.
He's like, I do mean Mandalorians. Which is totally, he would say that about like women or something in his podcast or in his comedy special. He would totally say that. Like something so super offensive to people.
Yeah, and I think another thing too that this episode does is it kind of humanizes. It doesn't go full on into it, but it kind of humanizes the Empire and stormtroopers too, to a degree, because we first of all we get to a scene later on where we hear more about Mayfeld and how he's conflicted about what went on with the war. We also, though, we're driving past these people on a planet, and you see all these like farmers. They're sort of destitute or whatever, and he says, like, do you think they care who's conquering them, whether it's New Republic or Empire? Like, it's it's different people with the same agendas or something along those lines.
There's always somebody who's ruling and somebody being ruled in the galaxy, he says.
Yeah. And it's just the way he was saying it, though, just seemed like Bill Burr. Like when he's like talking about like politics or something, it just sounded like that was him.
He brought up like Mandalorians, and he's like, I think he brought up like the wars on Mandalore and stuff. He's like, those people had any choice?
Yeah, he's like, what's the difference between what you guys were doing during your wars, versus what the Empire was doing? Do you think any of those people saw it any differently?
Yeah.
No?
It's kind of and
like you're born over here, you're born over here. Like that all varies on what you're raised to see. And I think that was so cool because I think a lot of people in our world forget that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And we've never kind of really gotten that side of the Empire unless you follow Empire Did Nothing Wrong on Reddit. Well, I didn't check. They might have had a field day with this episode. I love that account. But anyway.
I think they kind of touched on it in The Last Jedi, but it just was not handled well.
True. The Last Jedi, is, yeah. Anyway.
Listen to our sequel talk if you want to hear about it.
So he's going on in this, this talk to Mando, and he says something like, you grow up on Mandalore, you believe one thing. You grow up on Alderaan, you believe another thing. And he goes, but guess what? Neither one exists anymore.
Oh my god!
Oh man,
that was like again, just something.
Again, just another comedy line from Bill Burr.
Anyway, they're driving the truck then, and I think they can only go so fast because of the radonium or something, or maybe we don't figure that out for a bit.
Yeah, it's because you can't drive too fast. You hear it on the radio. Mayfeld hears it because Mayfeld's nervous. He knows how explosive this stuff is, and you hear the operator talking to another Juggernaut that's going. They're like, "Hey, Juggernaut 3, you're going too fast right now. That radonium could destabilize. You got to go slow down." And they're like, "Oh, sorry, we just hit a couple bumps." And then Mando says, "If you just drive steady, we'll get there."
Yeah. All of a sudden, though, some chaos breaks out.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, what's going on? Like, bam! And then all of a sudden, there's these pirates coming after them.
Yeah. Well, the other Juggernauts explode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of nowhere. And you don't know why.
It was pretty sweet. And it's just like, this is go time.
The operator's like, Juggernaut 5, which is them, stay on course. And Mayfeld said, stay on course? What?
I remember that.
Yeah. But anyway.
It's like, what do you want?
Yeah.
And these pirates come out, these blue guys. And I thought at first that they looked kind of like the blue guy that Mando caught. Back in the first episode, and then we saw again in the episode with Cara Dune and Carl Weathers. But they looked a little different, though.
I thought it was Hondo's pirate gang. I thought he was coming with them. I thought from the Clone Wars.
Yeah, the Weequays
and Rebels.
I think they are.
I thought it was them, but at least we didn't see him. So
yeah. But anyway, they start to get onto the ship, and Mando starts shooting some of them.
Yeah, they're trying to throw thermal detonators in the Rhydonium tanks.
Yeah, they want to blow this thing up. So Mando has to shoot them because they need to get the Rhydonium there into the facility so they can get into the terminal. Mando starts shooting these guys. He gets out on top then, some more come, and eventually he runs out of blaster bolts, I guess, and he just throws
ammo.
his gun at them, and he just starts going into it. I mean, just beating the hell out of dudes. It's great. But the thing is, he's taking some hits because, like, and you can see, like, I don't know if it's because he's used to relying on his extremely God mode armor.
Yeah.
Because we've seen, like, when he's been in other fist fights, he can take some hits. He can take it in shot, and he just keeps rolling with it.
Yeah.
But in, like, here, like, you can see there's been a few times where, like, someone would swing something at him, and this plastoid, stormtrooper armor just breaks on him, and he takes, like, a rib shot or shoulder hurts or something.
Totally.
But he just keeps going, though. Like, that, it doesn't change. It doesn't make him a bitch, though, now. Like, he's not just like, oh, done.
He was outnumbered. He was fighting these guys off,
Oh my god, he just keeps tossing them off. I love to, like,
while trying to prevent them from dropping a thermal detonator in the tank.
Yes.
Like,
and he's kicking ass with a spear. He, like, throws one over the front, and Mayfeld's like, oh, and like,
he runs him over.
Oh,
yeah.
And he, like,
I
throws
couldn't
another
tell
one
his
into a
face
tire.
there if he was happy or if he was worried that Bump was going to destabilize the stuff. Anyway, like, Mando, like, gets a break. He finally, like, beats all the guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's for a second there's no more, and all of a sudden, like, 2 or 3 come out of the shadows, like, of these.
Yeah, I think he tosses the one grenade. So he gets rid of one, they fall off and explode, then he, like, throws another one and explodes the one, and then all of a sudden, like, another one comes through the fire.
Right,
like,
right.
2 more ready to go.
Yeah. And he tells Mayfeld, like, you need to drive faster. Like, let's go. And Mayfeld is like, I can't do that. I'm going to destabilize. And I was just thinking here, like, Mayfeld actually slows way down because you can see the levels of Idonium are getting dangerously high.
Yeah. And
Mayfeld's prioritizing that. And I was just thinking, though, Mayfeld's also like, no. The fans want to see you kick more ass. Like, that was awesome. So Bill Burr
keep
just
going.
Shuts it down.
Do it some more.
Yeah, do it some more.
And it is sweet. Like, I love seeing Mando kick ass. I love seeing him be the badass. And he was again, but this time too, you can tell the dude is worn out. Like, his, like, shoulder piece is gone. Like, he's got rocked a few times, and he's
shamed.
He's been shamed. But he keeps going. Eventually, he gets pinned down, though. And one of them, like, in before this too, like, the other 2 guys who placed, like, the thermal detonator, like, they would, like, hold it up, click it, look at it, and then put it down. And, like, I was like, all right, that gives us some time to take that guy out. This guy did it again, though, when Mando's pinned down. I'm like, oh, Cara Dune's going to snipe him. Fennec's going to snipe him. Slave 1's going to come out of nowhere. Boba Fett's going to kick ass. No, he does it, and he sets it down, and he gets away. But eventually, I think Mando does. He kicks someone's ass off, and he gets it out of there. And he explodes them, but he also gets tossed back again. And it's just like, bam! Like, I love the action in this. I loved it. And it's like on this moving thing too. It just felt like so, like, Indiana Jones.
It was very,
like,
Indiana
Western,
Jones.
even, like, train fights.
And then more show up, right?
Yeah.
And guess who comes to save the day? This was cool. The Empire. A couple of TIE fighters come out of nowhere and just start shooting them. And they start getting to, like, the entrance, and a bunch of stormtroopers come out and start, like, shooting them so they can get in. And it's like good music was playing. It wasn't like bad, scary music. It was like the Empire just came in and saved Mando's butt.
Save the day.
They don't know. But, like, this was very interesting. So they get in, no problem once the Empire shows up and starts helping.
Yeah, that was sweet.
It was sweet. It was cool. It's weird to, like, be happy to see them.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird to be like, yay, TIE fighters.
Yeah, TIE fighters
with stormtroopers in them,
and stormtroopers coming out of the door to shoot. Anyway, they get inside, and this is a very interesting scene. And I don't know, a lot of people are talking about this scene, but we just kind of, like, they kind of focus a little bit on the stormtroopers celebrating, and, like, when they get out of the Juggernaut, they're just like, hey, man, great job. Like, wow. Like, way to go.
Like, clapping, like, woo. Like,
you did it, guys. Like, really, like, genuinely happy for that their friends didn't die. They don't really know them. But, like, this is kind of interesting.
They succeeded in a mission. I think they're the only ones that came back, too.
Yeah.
Which is just like, The only people who aren't stormtroopers are the people who made it back. Like these poor guys, poor stormtroopers, right?
Yeah.
How are they taking over the galaxy when they
I
just
don't
suck all the time?
I know, but now I look at them different. Now they're just the nice guys who aren't good at shooting. No, I'm just kidding. But these guys were like, they're all just so happy that they got back in, and it was, you know, I've never seen them like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've never like seen the stormtroopers succeed. Get to see them all together, like the men
Cheering and
like their brethren. You know, you just like the same as like in the Last Kingdom when you win a battle, or when we see the rebels when they're happy after they blow up a Death Star or something. You know what I mean? It's like that was like them, and it was I haven't seen anyone else talking about this or heard any other videos or anything, but I thought that was like really cool. They don't linger on it very long, but I thought it was really cool.
They were trying to send a message there.
Yeah,
like these guys are human too.
Yeah. End up going then, and they're like, all right, there's a terminal over there, and it's in like the dining area of this base. The plan is for Mayfeld to go over there. He's going to get face scanned, and he has to type in the code, or he has to put a thing in and get the code, and then they'll figure out where Grogu's ship is.
Seems simple.
He goes up to it though, and there's a guy in there, an Imperial officer, who is, I was trying to place who it is. It's like the guy who played Joe Chill from Batman Begins, the guy who killed Bruce Wayne's parents.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
He's sitting in there as this officer, and Burr's like, oh, like crap, like that guy knows me. You know, I used to work for him because again, Burr used to be an Imperial sharpshooter. That's why he's there.
Right.
He's like, I can't go in there. He's going to recognize me. You know what I mean? And Mando's like, come on, let's try and do this. Like, we're here. Like, we had a deal.
Just get in, get out. Get in, get out.
He's like, I can't do this. Like, I'll get recognized. Like, it'll fail the mission. Like, we got to go back. And Mando's like, there's no going back. Like, this is it.
We're here. We're doing this.
Yeah. And then he's like, all right, I'll figure it out or something. He goes in, and you're just like, what is he gonna do? You know what I mean?
First of all, dude, if you're gonna go in, let's not walk in as awkwardly as possible.
I know.
And like make eye contact with everybody in the room to make sure you have all their attention. Just like walk in like you're supposed to be there. Go to the thing. And like, because you walk in and you have this awkward pause and you stare at Val and Hess. You do like a little salute and stuff to try to play cool, but like it wasn't cool at all. And then Val and Hess is just like, who the hell is this guy?
And he saw them and Bill Burr arguing too. Like he saw them outside.
Yeah, he noticed that. Yeah, he did. So he knew something was up.
Yeah, you're right. He drew way too much attention. Like, just go in. And he goes over, and you're like, what's he gonna do? Like, and he tries to scan, and there's a failure because it's scanning his helmet. And you're just like, what the hell's gonna happen? Everyone's like,
in the background, you can see Val and Hess is just staring at him the whole time.
Yeah,
and it's just like Val and Hess is just like, who the hell is this guy who doesn't know how to use the Imperial terminal? I mean, that's during orientation. Everyone learns how to use the internal Imperial terminal, like.
Yeah, and he just pops off his helmet. And I just looked at Tay like, I was like, what? He just pops up. There's Pedro Pascal right there. I was like, Pedro Pascal.
There's Oberyn right there. Like, there's the new bad guy from Wonder Woman right there. But it's like, how far is Din Djarin willing to go to save Grogu? And that shows it, I think.
Yeah, I think, like I was saying earlier, I think it's a little bit of a combination of, he's been seeing all these other things this season that has been challenging his perception of, what does a Mandalorian mean? And, what can they do? Why is my creed different? Or, things like that. He saw Cobb Vanth, who wasn't a Mandalorian. He's wearing a Mando armor. He's doing honorable things. He takes off the helmet. He sees Bo-Katan and her crew, who are all born and raised from Mandalore. Her sister was a ruler of Mandalore.
Right.
They take off their helmets, lickety split. Boba Fett, whose dad was a foundling. And I think,
by the way, they make a point too, because like Boba Fett didn't have his helmet when they first talked, but like Boba Fett took it off again when they were talking on the ship earlier in the episode. Like he had it on when we first saw him, but then he just took it off.
Yeah, he took it off
because we didn't see Boba Fett take it off in the original trilogy. He always had it on.
Yeah,
we saw his dad take it off. Yeah, but anyway.
So I was like, all right, well, it's really cool because he's had that this season. And I knew that all of that was foreshadowing something, a change in something of what he was going to do, some sort of.
Right.
But it's like you said, it's, what is he willing to do for Baby Yoda, for Grogu?
Yes.
What is he willing to do? And it is like, he's willing to do the one thing that like he has been against this whole season. Anytime, like when the Mandalorian saved him in episode 3, when Bo-Katan saved him, they took off their helmet and he was just like, all right, fuck you, peace out. I don't need your help.
Yeah.
And in here, he's like, it was just, I don't know, it was just crazy. It was just crazy.
But anyway, in the background, while he's getting the scan, and so the scan goes through on his face because no one's ever freaking seen his face before. So it was like, no, it's not in our system. You can see Valen Hess is getting up from his chair, walking over, and like he's sweating because he needs that info. And I think it finally gets through. We don't know until the end of the episode when Cara Dune asks him, and he says, "Yeah, I got the location."
Yeah.
But anyway, Valen Hess kind of comes up and is like, why'd you take your helmet off? Or something.
Yeah, like what are you doing over here? What's your number?
Yeah, so he starts asking him the hard questions, like, what's your TK number? And like Mando tries to bullshit something.
He's like,
Oh no, he's like, what's your station or something? He's like, I'm a transport
driver.
He's like, a transport driver.
What's your TK number?
Yeah.
He's like, my TK number is.
Oh man, he was not playing it cool at all. He's like wildly uncomfortable without his helmet, and throughout the whole rest of the scene, that is so evident.
Yes,
like,
he looks so strange. Like he
Pedro
looks so
Pascal. Yeah, Pedro Pascal. Like, props, man, for being so damn awkward without your helmet on. No, but he was doing it on purpose because, like, we'll talk when they're sitting at the table at a second. He's kind of just like sitting there, like watching them talk, and he's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think he felt like exposed and naked. I also think part of it though is too, like, Mando doesn't do a lot of dramatic facial things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he does do like a lot of long pauses and holds when he has his helmet on. So I mean, it would make sense he would be doing the same thing without his helmet. You know what I mean?
Just awkward, like jittering, like. No, I feel like when he has his helmet on, he has a certain demeanor, though.
Yeah,
a different demeanor.
No, he's still different. He still felt awkward. Yeah.
So anyway, he can't think of something. And I'm just like, man, to think of something. But I mean, a TK number. Like, how many digits is a TK number? 6, 7? Like, I don't know.
Does he have everyone memorized?
I know. So as I was thinking, one thing is like I thought, like, okay, is he just going to start shooting his way out of here now? But no, Bill Burr musters up the courage to come face his old boss, Valen Hess. The reason why he didn't want to go in there is because this guy he used to serve under him, and he's like, "Hey, his TK number is this. You got to excuse him. He was in like a depressurized capsule or something back on this. He just BS is a great anser.
Yeah, he can't hear very well.
He can't really hear very well. You got to speak up.
We call him Brown Eyes.
Yeah, we call him Brown Eyes. It was just great. It was great.
Yeah, and then it's still kind of tense, and he's like, "You two, come with me," and they're both just like, "Come on," and he's like, "Let's have a drink. You're the only two that made it back.
You're the only two that made it back, and now we have the Rhydonium, so thank you."
Yeah.
So they
sit down, and this was such a great scene. This to me was like a Quentin Tarantino, kind of like that kind of scene where there's this tension that's in there. I mean, it doesn't start out that way though, but like this isn't going to end well. They're not going to just drink and get out of here, And they sit down, and
Bill Burr, like Mayfeld, cannot help, but ask these hard questions and
I think the officer starts saying something about the Empire and how they're great or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I think that's what kind of spurs Mayfeld. He says like, "Oh yeah, like," and he's like, "Oh, where do I know you from?" And he's like, "Oh, I was on XYZ planet, And he's like, "Oh, that was a great battle." And he's just like, "Oh."
He's like, "That was a hard day." He's like, "I had to make a lot of really rough decisions that day."
Yeah.
Or something. Or difficult decisions that day. And Bill Burr's just like, "Yeah, you did." In that Bill Burr way. Yeah, you did.
And it starts out, he has that like Bill Burr sass, but then as the conversation goes, you can see Bill Burr like is actually like cared about those men and what happened there as far as killing the civilians and the men. He's just like,
see it on his face.
Like, glory of the empire or something like that. And you can see, like, it looks like he's going to cry. And it was like, I was like, damn, this is a good freaking scene.
Because he's like, because the guy is like, it was a great day for the empire. And Bill Burr's like, oh, really? Yeah, so for those mud scrapers, those poor mud scrapers protecting their homes, a great day for them. For all my my troop members who I served with, was a great day for them and their families. Just going in like that.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, what are you getting at, trooper?
Yeah. And I forget exactly what happens. It's a great scene, but eventually though, he's just like, he just sort of gives like his Bill Burr laugh, and like the whole time this is happening, Mando's just in there like, I'm so awkward about my helmet.
Awkward.
How do I tell you with my face to shut up?
Yeah, and because he's also like, he's like, I don't know those with my helmet. I could kind of just stare at you and tell you to stop like that way.
And
but anyway,
Bill Burr, I forget what the guy says. He's just like, but he kind of ends with, everyone at the end of the day says they want freedom, but what they really want is order.
Because he says a good line like that. And before that too, he was like, when Bill Burr's like, all my friends died that day, and he's like, all heroes of the empire. The guy says, he's like, and all dead. Yeah, and then he says something like, everyone wants order. They think they want freedom, but everyone really wants order.
Like, ooh, first order. And
Bill Burr just doing one of these. Like, you could just visibly see the anger swell. And it's just fantastic. Everyone go back and rewatch Bill Burr's performance. A+, man. Great job. And the guy goes,
and something bad's gonna happen, right? And but you don't know exactly what. Burr's he's gonna snap in some way that either gets them in trouble as they're walking out the door or something. But what he does is just pulls the blaster out, bam, right
when
he
says, he goes to cheers, glory to the empire. And Bill Burr's like, like, and there's like an awkward pause where like everybody in the mess hall, there's like a stormtrooper like holding a tray. Like, who gets a tray at the mess hall? Really? Like, did you get a tray in college? Nobody got the trays.
Chocolate milk on there.
Yeah.
His blue milk.
And there's like an awkward pause, and like everyone's staring at them, like you just killed the boss. And then Mando, like Bill Burr, shoots that stormtrooper, and then shoots like two more super quick. Two more officers. Mando comes out too, starts shooting too, and it's like, wow, you guys quick on the draw. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And now they gotta just freaking escape.
Yeah, they make it to the window, and Cara Dune and Fennec were sitting up with sniper rifles above. Like, what's taking them so long? Back when they were first having a drink. And then it was, again, such sweet freaking action. Like, once it kicks on, all the Empire's just swarming in this hall. They come out the window. They're shooting guys. As they're coming up, Cara Dune and Fennec just start sniping people. Also, too, Mando puts back on the Stormtrooper helmet.
Yeah, this is a great moment.
And it was pretty cool how Burr was just like, hey, like, don't worry about it. Like, I didn't see your face.
I didn't see your face. Yeah.
And like, you could tell he's been picking on him about taking off the helmet since that first episode he was in with him. Yeah. He tried to get the big red guy to take off his helmet. It was a joke
episode with him. He had no respect for Mando.
Yeah. And now he sees like what he sacrificed for this kid. You know what I mean? Like, he sees that this is important, how much, where his values are. And it was just so cool. Just such a sweet bro moment. That's my bro moment of the episode right there.
Bro moment. I love it. Anyway.
Best bro moment right there.
I got to say, though, Bill Burr must not have been in any of those Stormtrooper costumes in the original trilogy, because he didn't miss. Like, the Stormtroopers are trying to come through the door to shoot at him. He's just like, he doesn't miss. And the
Maybe he was there at the beginning when the clone troopers were still in there.
And they still hit
good
things.
at shooting.
Yeah. But no, he's just nailing guys, and they're not getting hit at all. Yeah. I will say there was like one time Bill Burr was sneaking out the window, and he kind of shuffles out really slowly.
Yeah.
Gingerly, like on the ledge. And like 4 blaster shots just go to the right of him. And I'm just like, really? Like, he wasn't moving. Like, Anyway,
Yeah, but they're getting up, they're escaping. They're
Climbing.
getting all the guys are
they're
getting shot
climbing to
away.
the roof, and Mando's like, "Come on, you got to move." And Bill Burr's like, "What do you think I'm doing?"
Eventually, though, like I said, Cara Dune, Fennec, they're shooting. Slave Wen comes down,
Oh,
picks them up. They both jump in. It was pretty sweet. And they're in the ship, and then
you think it's over?
Yeah, they go pick up. I think they go pick up Cara Dune and Fennec too.
Not yet.
Here, but as they're flying away, though, Bill Burr, who we remember, he was a sharpshooter. He wasn't a stormtrooper asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or wise ass. And he grabs a sniper rifle from them, and he aims it at one of those Redonian piles on the base and just blows it up. And
he nails it.
Yeah,
that was great. I loved the view too, because it did not look like an easy shot, even from where he was.
No.
And
they were
the shot of him
moving
just so very still when he takes that shot was amazing. It was like total redemption, and he has the lines like, "We all got to sleep at night." Because earlier in the episode he said something like, "We all do what we can do so we can sleep at night."
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
And
even Cara Dune looks at him like, "That was pretty cool of you, dude. I hate Imperials, so it was nice of you to kill a bunch of them for me."
Yeah. By the way, I got to admit, Cara Dune's like, "All right, yeah." When they were talking to Valen Hess, Bill Burr Mayfeld was like, "Yeah, I was there at Operation Cinder when you had Operation Cinder." So I was confused when I heard this. I am playing the Battlefront 2 campaign right now.
Yeah.
On PlayStation 4, and when I heard Operation Cinder, I recognized it, but I just thought, "Oh, was that in Mandalorian earlier?" They talked about it in Mandalorian earlier, but no, it's in Battlefront 2.
Oh.
And now I remember, that's in Battlefront 2. That's what I'm doing. I'm fighting against Operation Cinder.
Oh.
So they're tying in a little storyline there.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So that's kind of cool. And it's like this thing, they have these giant lasers in the sky that shoot the planet and destabilize it, I guess. Anyway, it's bad news for whoever's on that planet at the end of the day. But anyway, so he makes that amazing shot, blows the whole thing up, total redemption for Bill Burr. Bill Burr nailed this episode. They get to some safe place and they land and they get out, and they're talking to Bill Burr like, "Hey, you did a great job, and Bill Burr's kind of like, yeah, good luck finding your kid, Mando. We're friends now." And he puts his hand out. I was like, "All right, take me back." And Cara Dune's like, "It's too bad Mayfeld died in the wreckage." And Mando's like, "Yeah, that sucks. It's too bad."
And he's got his armor back on now too, Mando.
Yeah, he's got his armor back on. Bill Burr is like, "What does that mean? You guys saying I can leave? Because I will."
Yeah, because they just start ignoring him, and they just keep saying "Oh, it's too bad he died in the explosion."
Yep.
Or whatever. And I think in his head too, he's kind of wondering does that mean you're gonna kill me instead of taking me back?
Yeah.
And then he says that because I will.
I will.
I'll leave.
And even as he's walking away, he looks back thinking, "Are you gonna shoot me in the back of the head?"
Yeah, he looked sketchy.
This is
am
weird.
I gonna die?
But anyway, he's also got a little smile on his face because he's like, "All right, cool, I get out." And I feel like now he has a new sort of personal perspective, or maybe he'll have a new goal in life. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe he'll just get back to what he was doing before, being kind of an outlaw. But it's pretty cool. And then Cara Dune just says to Mando, "What do we do next?" And we see the Slave One take an awesome takeoff and leave. Cut to a Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
Moff Gideon.
"Oh, sir, you're going to want to see this. The one female stormtrooper, not stormtrooper, but Imperial, almost looks First Order-ish officer."
Yeah, kind of mixed between First Order and Original Empire.
And a hologram pops up, and it's Mando in blue. And I thought at first that they were intercepting a communication or something with him, but no, it's a threat. And he gives back the same line at him that Moff Gideon said to him when they had them pinned down in
season 1.
At the end of season 1 in the bunker there, where they had the Gatling gun on them, all the lines that Moff Gideon said though when Mando said them had more emotion behind them, because Moff Gideon was like, you don't know what this means to me. Like, you don't know what the asset means to me, my empire, me, my own personal goals. Yeah. Mando said it as in, that's my kid you took, and I'm Liam Neeson on your ass now.
I'm on Liam Neeson. I have a very particular set of skills. I will find you and I will kill you. That's basically what he's saying.
Oh, man.
But yeah, that's how the episode ends, is with that line, like, you have no idea how much he means to me, or something to that effect. And it's like, you just see Moff Gideon's face, like, with a little bit of concern, but also a little bit of confidence. Like, yeah, you can't fuck with me though, because I'm Moff Gideon. You can see a little bit of that in him. He's definitely a little concerned that this guy's still going to be bothering them, but I think he also has a look of confidence.
Yeah, that was just
perfect ending of the episode.
Ending. I love this one. You know, we haven't been giving them numbers. I'd probably give this a 10 though. I honestly would.
Oh yeah, and honestly, like, I feel like this means like Mando is like full dad mode now with Grogu.
Yeah, I think you, was it you that said this? You know, before he was kind of just like his guardian.
Yeah.
And like now he's like definitely his dad.
Now it's like dad mode. Now it's, yeah.
We saw it in the Jedi. We saw it in the Ahsoka episode that he really cared when he was about to give him up. And then at the beginning of the Boba Fett episode, the previous one, we saw he was concerned that, like, hey, like, his force powers means I actually have to give him up. Like, this is a reality. Like, it's not just my next mission.
Absolutely.
And
anyway,
it's pretty sweet to see, though. Him
it was awesome,
and it's a lot of growth for Din Djarin.
Yeah, man, he was amazing.
Really cool. I mean, I love this one. I loved it.
It was great. Bill Burr had a great outing. The Fennec and Cara Dune sniping had a great outing. Mando. Oh, and we left out a huge part. Holy moly. They're getting away, and it's not over yet. They're on the Slave One, and 2 TIE fighters come out.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. How could we forget this? This is like prequel nostalgia. And as they're going away, remember back in Attack of the Clones when Obi-Wan was trying to trail Jango Fett and Boba Fett in the Slave One, they let go a sonic charge.
That was a sweet scene.
And it hurt your ears in the theater. It was like so loud. And
but they're like in an asteroid field, and how it cut through it, like the visuals of it were like some of the best Star Wars has.
Totally. So anyway, he drops one of those in between.
Before it went off, as soon as I saw him drop something out, I was like, is this going to be the sonic charge? It better be.
Yeah. And it was, and it, like, same sound. Obviously, it's not as loud when you're not in the theater, but it was so good. And it just destroys those TIE fighters. I loved it. Anyway, I'm glad we didn't forget that, because that is a very important part.
That was a very important one.
Just giving those little nods to the prequels. Ooh.
Yes.
Just gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling inside.
It just ties. Like, it makes the series feel, or the saga just feel even more connected, you know?
Yeah. So that's the episode, and it was a great one. Again, Bill Burr, have a whole new respect for your character and you as an actor.
Oh, damn.
Well done. Wow. You really stole this episode, but also Pedro Pascal as Din Djarin, you're always killing it, and you really kind of, just nice to have an episode where you kicked a lot of butt. So
yeah, and character,
and like, to see your face
development too.
Being really good at being awkward and uncomfortable. Good job. Yeah, but character development was fantastic. I'm so excited for this last episode. Like, holy crap, we still got a dream team here with Boba Fett, Cara Dune, and Fennec. Like, what? This is nuts. We just need to get Grogu back, baby. Just need to get Grogu back. We'll have the dream team for real.
Do you think Moff Gideon's going to die in the next one?
I don't know.
I don't think we've seen enough of him yet for them to kill him off.
I don't think so.
And we still have to fight those giant droid thingies.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We still don't know what the Force Jedi blood stuff that they've been doing. There's so many things.
We don't know who Grogu called. We still have that to be answered.
Exactly. Who did Grogu call?
A lot of things to be answered. I mean, I hope this episode's more than half an hour. I hope it's like an hour long.
Yes.
Because there's a lot to be covered, and I don't want the season to end. I don't want the season to end.
I still think we're going to get a cliffhanger, though. I don't think this one's going to wrap up as nice as the first season. Or
Yeah. You don't think they've tortured us enough for 2 episodes straight where they don't have Grogu? Like
I don't.
2 weeks straight of not having Grogu safe?
I know this was the first one Grogu wasn't in. You didn't see him at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like out of the whole series so far. So that's pretty crazy.
That was crazy.
I mean, I would be surprised if it ends on a happy note. And I would be very surprised if this one ended. I think it's going to end on a cliffhanger.
I
what I'm
so
thinking.
Too. Which is a good thing.
Yeah. It's going to make me mad for
it's the end
year.
of it'll make me mad for a year. I'll be in a bad mood and grumpy for a whole year.
If 2020 wasn't already bad, you have to make 2021 rough.
Yeah, come on, Disney. No, Disney's trying to make things better. I know they are with all these shows. Just take it easy, Disney.
Take it easy. You know, we've already been Snoked and Rise of Skywalker. So like,
Mandalorian's doing a great job of a lot of redemption for Star Wars.
Let Filoni and Favreau run this.
Let's not do too much. Obi-Wan, yes. Ahsoka, yes. Bad Batch, yes.
That's it.
That's it.
Get rid of the rest.
We will watch others. I mean, Andor has a cool poster, but I don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah. I just don't need everyone to keep flushing out in the original saga timeline. Let's get removed away. Let's get years after the sequel
or
trilogy.
Before.
Let's get years before the prequel trilogy even. Yeah. You know, let's go Old Republic. Let's go. I don't know what happens after Rise of Skywalker. Yes, we all want Old Republic. So you can stop messing with the timeline of the original saga.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. Sure. All right, let's wrap it up today, though. Good episode 7. And we please subscribe. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Please subscribe on YouTube. Like if you liked it. And otherwise, we'll see you for the season finale.
This is the way.